Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Big Tech Frenzy. Hair's all messed up. Let's get to it. Who cares, right? As long as the stocks are performing, and boy, oh boy, for the most part, stocks are performing, okay? SoFi, a little bit shaky today, okay? We ended out in the red, but the markets in general hit all-time highs. So if you guys are equity investors primarily, it's a happy day. Boy, oh boy, is it a happy day. Even if you're a gold investor, it's a happy day. It doesn't need to be one or the other these days. Everything is rocketing higher. Gives a little bit of 2021 vibes, but maybe we're early stage, you know? Or maybe we're seeing a technology shift like we've never seen that people are, man, my hair is something else, that people are expecting, will actually increase earnings, will increase margins. And on the back of that, we're also seeing potential rate cuts, which could just, put fuel on this equity market and see a much, much higher price. If you're Tom Lee, you think, this is the start of a 10-year bull run. Many people are starting to say this. So, what side is it? That's where we end up seeing real bubbles, right? Or potential bubbles. Is you're either on the one side of the argument where we're early stage into a revolution, which technological revolution, which I do think is true. And then the next bet is, hey, is some of that pulled forward too much for the actual applications that are going to be built on this technology? A little bit, I gotta have to leave that up to you guys. But yeah. How's everyone doing? Everyone? Good evening, sir. Good evening to you, B-dubs. Good to see you, my friend. Joshua, Greg, Simon, Paul, MD, Crosby, Billy Jack. How you guys doing? Scott, how you doing? Okay. Let's first start out this with a quick correction because there was I ended up putting out a SoFi video recently highlighting website traffic and how we ended up seeing similar dips on September versus a high in July, a high in August, and then a similar dip in September. Okay, so actually, this is a little bit messed up, but someone ended up putting on my video, "Hey, Tanner, don't know why you didn't see this, you're smarter than this. You should have caught this." And they're right. I don't know how much smarter I am than that, but I definitely should have caught it. That's for sure. That is the fact that on a daily basis, each individual month has different days, of course. Okay. So what a great thing to point out. So I changed the way I did this spreadsheet, and now we're actually including both the monthly reports and then the daily traffic that we're seeing in the millions, okay? Whenever we see this, there still was a dip in September on both years, but it does flatten out that curve. So if we just see this overlined, or I can even turn this into two columns, for example, if we are to look at this, although there still is dips from August of September from last year, and then August to September in this year as well, the dips are not as dramatic. Okay. You can see that it's definitely higher in September. And in fact, you really get to see how much of a difference February makes, because that's essentially a 3-day difference than many of the other months. So although we saw a larger dip going from 19.5 million to under 18 million, whenever you look at the dailies, you actually see that February was an increase on January. Okay, so this is a great way that we are going to look at it going forward. So I've added all of this up, and it does change. Robinhood ended up increasing month over month on a daily basis. Let's see what else increased. Flat for Lending Club. Let's see what else. I think that's the only one. Nope. Cash App increased just very slightly, and then some of them stayed absolutely flat. But Robinhood and Cash App, those are the two that increased month over month. It's definitely better than what we saw previously, though. And actually, this should allow me to expand the spark lines just a little bit more, get a better chart there. But anyway, that's not here nor there. So I'll fill this out and add those lines in for the people that do have the spreadsheet. You'll get a better view of, the dailies for the months, especially for February. And 30 versus 31 is a big difference, but February is going to be a big difference. That's huge. So seeing the difference there, that'll fill in those gaps whenever we do end up showing that. So hopefully that's a good way to look at it. But yeah. When are you going to sell Nubank? Crosby, whenever I see that my thesis has changed, I think that's probably when I'm going to sell New. Right now, they continue to take on more members, expand average revenue per user. They have a long way to go before being the largest bank in Latin America via net income, So that's a huge difference. Did I fill up my water today? Yeah, I think we're at about here right now, so I'll be okay. So good and tasty. Okay. Yeah, guys, just going on the quarter for SoFi, none of my expectations have changed. A lot of good things we're actually starting to see in Q4 as well, and that's what I wanted to talk about here today, not just Q4, but Q3 in general. Sorry, I meant to say the company in general, is that we are just constantly seeing more and more information that we're in for, we've bought a winner for sure. So let's quickly talk about Q3, and then I will get into the company in general and what has changed and the product cadence that is about to speed up. By my estimation, I'll talk about why. There's been some big changes for sure. Marketing man, whatever you want to be called. SoFi's website traffic for August, some things to point out. They ended up looking at the top destinations for where people are going from. So these are where people had come on to SoFi, top sources. And NerdWallet, massive increase here, but still only 1.6%. But this is why we track, the rewards that SoFi gets. And they get a lot of rewards for personal loans, student loans, checking accounts, these sort of things. And obviously why? 1.6% of sources come there, a 43% increase. So it's been really good. But this ended up getting picked up, which I thought was just insane. DocuSign.net had a 94.3% increase. DocuSign. Why would someone be leaving SoFi's platform to go to DocuSign directly? Can I get any estimates as to why that might be the case? Any assumptions? I'll tell you one. Let's imagine you're getting a home loan. They need a signature. This is the loan deal. A personal loan, a student loan. You're signing up an agreement that you are going to pay X and receive some large sum of money in return. Now, the actual percentage, 3.6%, is one thing, okay? But the increase is SoFi compared to SoFi. Okay, we're up 94.3%. That is insane. That's just crazy. So I'm extremely excited about this. Experian, these are going to be normal. We're going to see they have SoFi Relay and stuff like this. Google, I'd be interested to see what the transition there is, or that's just people going back to their home, I guess, from SoFi's website. But the DocuSign.net was extremely interesting. That one was very interesting. So thank you for picking that up, marketing man. Shout out to DDI for sending that to me. Wow. On top of, better than expected website traffic for September, because we did it on a daily basis now, so that looks just a little bit better. On top of that, we ended up showing off yesterday that you can now, instead of transferring 50,000 on a daily transfer limit, that it's now up to 250,000. On top of that, we also saw that the weight limits between, and by the way, there should absolutely be no weight limits. This is clunky technology. It never should have been there. But SoFi's transfers between SoFi Checking and Savings and SoFi Invest is now instant. Okay. So they had gone from waiting 1 to 3 business days to now doing instant transfers. Now I'm aware SoFi shouldn't have been there in the first place, but we have to think about this, technologically. If you're an engineer or someone that either, codes, does software, whatever, you're going to immediately pick up on this. This is probably a larger technology shift. This is not a small upgrade. Now, what could be a technology shift that allows SoFi to start having instant transfers, almost as if both of those technologies are now on the same stack? What could that be, huh? To me, that screams Technisys integration, full stop. That means checking and savings is on Technisys, Invest is on Technisys. We know that credit card is on Technisys. We know that the loans are on Technisys. So now, if I were to make a complete assumption, I am to say that SoFi is now fully integrated onto their own homegrown built tech stack that they also have for sale to other institutions. What does this mean? Well, it means exactly this: faster ways for them to start upgrading their services. So how long did it take them to switch from 50,000 transfers to 250,000? I mean, it was probably just typing it into the code. Hey, switch to this to this. We already have it on, what do you call it? Like one tech stack. It's going to be essentially a column that they can just adjust. Okay. Then, what does this also lead us to? Potentially faster UX UI changes, because that's also part of the Cyberbank core. This potentially allows us to put out new products like L1, crypto, all of these other things, because now it's, a cloud-based solution that they're able to code much faster on. So yeah, I think we're going to see much faster changes to SoFi, more personalized solutions, much more holistic solutions as well. And we even see that in the job offerings, that now we're starting to get people that are signing up not for SoFi Bank or SoFi Checkings or SoFi Invest, but SoFi Checkings and credit card. Isn't that weird? Like these job offerings that are across multiple solutions, or the other one was Checkings and Invest. Well, those sort of cross job offerings makes me think that they are wanting to build more solutions that work seamlessly while tied together. Okay. We'll have to see. But yeah. SoFi's a trending stock. Is that what you guys are saying? I did not see that. Someone bought 9 million shares today. Yeah, that happens. It's probably Tevis. I'm just kidding. We need that massive influx of members from acquiring federal student loans. That's going to be as big for SoFi as LOB. I think you're saying LPB, loan platform business. Yeah, no, I agree. But that's the thing. It's like you're betting on it. It's also why I think that this should be in Tom Lee's Granny Shots ETF. I DM'd him. He never got to read it. I'm not big on X like that, But the thing that I think is interesting is there's so many simultaneous sort of tailwinds that SoFi has for themselves that it would fit so well into their bucket. I mean, they have a lot of fintech stuff, crypto, millennial is another category that they want because of the great wealth transfer, these sort of things. SoFi fits perfectly into those buckets. But then like the Trump administration is just pushing SoFi through privatizing student loans. Loan platform business is SoFi's own technology that's, going to be $1 billion business in quick succession. So that's got to be very fast or very exciting. But yeah. S&P 500 inclusion getting more likely in December. They've been picking a lot of financial names. So either they're seeing the same signs that Tom Lee is seeing, where financials is just going to be a bigger gainer than many other sectors going forward, or they have filled a gap that they don't need to continue to add to. One or the other, right? The big, more modern solutions, the AppLovin, the Robinhood, many of these names that we thought were going to get in before SoFi have already gotten in. There's many names, like I think it's over 130 or something, that are in the S&P 500 that are not even eligible for that index right now. That's a problem. But yeah. You guys talking about the meme ETF? The meme ETF is not something I worry about. I wouldn't worry about the names that they picked. If your name is on it, I think that's only going to be more beneficial if people start putting assets under management towards that. I don't even think it's going to be that popular, to be honest. I just think it caught a lot of steam because people were surprised by some of the names that were on the list. What are the requirements for SoFi to meet S&P 500? We're already eligible. So they need to be profitable for 4 quarters. They need to have a $23.5 billion market cap, certain amount of volume that trades above their market cap, all of those things. We clear all of them. The one that we were struggling on was the market cap one, but since SoFi ran to $28, it's no longer a problem. Yeah, HIMS is on the list. IREN was on the list. There was a couple of them that I don't think people should have seen. SoFi was not on that list. But honestly, I wish they were. Like, I don't care what other people say about my company. I didn't care whenever people said it was a SPAC or Chamath whatever. Like, as long as there's more inflows than outflows, I'm happy. So if meme was going to be a way for an additional purchaser to be buying SoFi, go right ahead. Like, I don't care. Same thing with a bunch of people that are talking crap about SoFi. If we do get into the S&P 500, you're going to be forced into it as well if you have any form of S&P 500 investments. Let's see. I'm not... if people are asking when SoFi is going to 10x, I would never think about it that way. A 10x puts them amongst the top, 3 banks in the world. I wouldn't look at everything as being the next 10x. I actually think that's probably just generally a terrible way to invest. I would look to outperform the S&P 500 and then collect whatever additional premium you can get on that. Like, for example, I bought Robinhood. Some of the buys that I did have at around $14 have 10x'd, because we rushed above 140. In no way, whenever I was buying it at $14, did I think it was going to 140. I thought, wow, this company probably deserves to be above 20. And then by the time it got to 20, we saw an extra quarter of earnings. They put out 3 new products. They announced multiple new product updates. And then we ended up going to 30 and then to 40. And then margins expanded like crazy. EPS targets from Wall Street got increased. Like, I wouldn't buy companies based on 10x's, but it doesn't mean that they can't be achieved. But SoFi, a lot would need to change, and it would be irresponsible of me to suggest that those things are going to happen. So what would need to happen in order for SoFi to, have a 10x and be a clear 10x is the Trump administration says, hey, you know what? We are privatizing our student loans, and our preferred underwriter for these types of products and who is going to, service all of those loans is going to be SoFi, because they are managing most of that volume. That would lead to the company doubling the next day. Like, it's a $1.6 trillion industry that's handed directly to SoFi. Is that going to happen? 99.99% no. Could they win a large chunk of those deals? Maybe. Maybe, but I'm not banking on it. I'm banking on them continuously outperforming their guidance. And I hope for those additional wins as they grow. I hope that whenever I was buying SoFi at 6 or 7, that no one thinks that I could have even imagined the loan platform business. It was not in the cards. And then they just came out with the best product they've ever released in history on top of what I was, excited about. And then the stock 4x'd. But we'll see. I was there buying it, go IPOE. I wasn't even there. I wasn't even that early. I missed all the craze of the early cycle and then got into it after it sold off a ton. And then more on the way down, like losing money on the way down. Because I think my first buy was $14.50, and then I was just aggressively buying at the 7s, 6s, 5s, and 4s. But yeah. Hopefully they get a good amount of the student loans that meet the credit box that they're looking for. I hope so too. There's a couple things there. So one, nothing is up for sale just yet. They're only just thinking about it. So, and by the way, they're not even thinking about it publicly. It's just, people who are familiar with the matter, as every article says. So we don't even know what's to come of this just yet, but we're hoping that Trump is going to go forward with this. Obviously, he's been super bullish or super aggressive on the private student loans. He was going to do this in his first term, and then COVID happened. So now he's doing it in his second term. This is something that he's been wanting to do for a while. I have a lot of cash sitting on the sidelines, not sure what I'm waiting for anymore. I mean, this is why I stay fully invested. A lot of people can tell you that the end is near. Peter Schiff's been doing it since I started investing, and he's, it starts to dip and then he screams that he's right. But honestly, the truth is he's never been right on this. Sure, gold's up. Sure, there are dips, but markets go higher and technology pushes margins to improve, which allows markets to also hold more aggressive multiples. And also, more of the world's wealth is finding its way onto stock markets, which also allows for more aggressive multiples. I wouldn't say nothing ever happens. I mean, I do think that we are going to go through, and I don't know when, but I don't think we're too far out from a pretty scary crash that will shake out the weak hands. But I think that the people who just hold through it will be, very safe. Why are you not watching the Blue Jays? I don't know, not a sports guy. Not a sports guy, especially baseball. I mean, I just find it to be a slow sport. The AI scenario needs to happen. Otherwise, the US dollar is going to the toilet. Yeah. Hence my cash hoard. I know, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So if we are going to have some level, like Paul Tudor Jones said that, between the times of 1999, October, and March of 2000, the market doubled. So you worrying about where to find that dip could potentially lose out on more than, or the gains that you would have found might be larger than what you would have lost in the first place. And also, I monitor markets, and this is not for everyone, but for those that monitor markets on a minute-to-minute basis, constantly in front of your computers, watching the news, looking at the macro environment, reading about this, I think it's probably better to watch the market go up 100% and then sell on the first day whenever it dips 20% than wait for that 20% dip after 100% run up. You know what I mean? Like I'm just very much an advocate for buying long and holding great companies. What I would worry about, what I would caution people on, is buying companies that are pre-revenue, that are story stocks that can make a fortune. I wouldn't short them. I just made an article today, or not an article, sorry. I made a quick tweet today talking about this. I agree. There's a lot of stocks I wouldn't buy, but I'm sure as heck not going to short them because the market can be irrational. But you guys know me, right? I'm into banking, I'm into crypto, I'm into AI, I'm into future tech. But all of those are making money today. The benefactors, the people who are investing in blockchain technology are winning right now. The people who are, investing in AI, depends on where you're putting your money. I'm putting my money in NVIDIA. That's 50% of my entire portfolio is in NVIDIA. They are the company that's making money from artificial intelligence today. They don't need to wait. They're the number one benefactor, okay? Or beneficiary, I should say. So I'm a believer in new tech. I'm a believer in being long. I'm also a believer in let's not push the buck out too far. Like, let's make money today. Let's make money tomorrow as well. So what I was going to highlight is the short report from BMNR. Kerrisdale put out a short report on BMNR, and no, I'm not worried. Essentially, they have put out a lot of short reports. You might not be able to see this. Let me close this out really quick. On October 10th, 2023, we're short Joby. Okay, I'll show you guys these charts after. So let's remember these dates, and then I'll show you the chart. Carvana, June 12th, 2023. Oklo, November 20th, 2024. D-Wave, April 29th this year. IonQ, March 13th this year. MicroStrategy, March 28th, 2024. CoreWeave, just recently, September 15th. Now they put on another one for, what's it called? BMNR today. Guys, I don't even disrespect the companies that they are putting shade towards, because I do think that there is froth in the markets. I find it hard sometimes, especially at the time that they shorted Carvana, to understand the thesis, right? Like, car loans are worrisome. It's a hard business. There have been some shaky parts in the story. I get it. But I was wrong and they were wrong. But they bet against it. I didn't lose anything from not betting on Carvana. They lost a fortune. Okay? Joby, October 10th, 2023. So let's start looking through some of these names. Let's bring this up. And I'm not even saying that all of these, like that they haven't found winners, because there are some names that they have shorted that have made slight amounts of money. But the truth is like, it's just nothing compared to what they could potentially lose. Shorting is just a failed game, in my opinion. Oh, I'm already on Joby here. So let's see. It was October 10th, 2023. So they bet here. So what, you sold it here? Or did you run it up and you paid the premium all the way for multiple months? What did you perfectly sold it in April of 2024? What are we talking about? You know what they probably did? Is what they would like to say is that they started the short here and they got out here. Wow, great report. That was awesome. You guys made a fortune. What you risked was this. Absolutely not. That you're going to lose an absolute fortune, multiples on the amount of money that you would have put in. Let's see here. November 20th. November 20th. There we go. Okay, hold on. November 20th was right roughly between these two parts. We're shorting Oklo. Really? So what? Did you dump here, or did you wait an extra day and then wait for, a lowering and a lowering and a lowering and a lower? Like, I would be scared shorting Oklo. I mean, come on now. So unless they made, money from here to here and then they called it a day, I'm sure the upside is worth so much worse than what the potential downside is. Good luck with that. Oh, sorry, wait. Qubits. And when was this? April 29th. Why do I keep closing this, by the way? I just wanted to minimize it. Okay. April 29th. Oh, okay. Where did they make money? In D-Wave here. April 29th. That's there. That is a straight, literally the worst short you could have ever put on. I mean, that is timing the bottom right there. Right before a run-up, and then a run-up again. I'm not even a believer largely in quantum. I think it has to prove itself out. Not the technology, but the commercial space. Am I betting on it? No. And this goes on and on. IonQ, another one. MicroStrategy, CoreWeave. CoreWeave, like they just recently put it on. I mean, it's recovered a lot since. So, short reports in the short term, read through them. I think that they can bring up some pieces. There have been companies that have been straight frauds and stuff like this that short report companies have brought up. BMNR is not one of them. Okay. They didn't even suggest any wrongdoing, any fraud, anything like this. They just said, hey, this is not as good as buying Ethereum because the MNAV will compress. Great. Thanks, Dad. Okay, go on. Like, yeah, I don't know. I think they're going to lose a lot of money. I don't know why you would short a company whenever you're bullish on Ethereum anyway. And then if you want to do a pair trade or something like this, to be betting against BMNR and betting long Ethereum or something like this, which is what they did with MicroStrategy, if they both go up, you would just be better just betting long on Bitcoin. You would have lost money doing both. So there's a lot in that report. Like out of the names, I don't even hate the names that they had picked to short because I do think that a lot of them are story stocks. They're retail driven. I can tell that these investors want to be more fundamentally driven. They like value investing, these sort of things. I get that. I don't like companies that are pre-revenue, where a lot of their business comes way out into the future. But just don't short those. All right. Anywho, that's it. I also think that shorting is honestly just for engagement purposes because everyone goes, "Oh my gosh, you're taking a large stance against this thing that is going to go higher." Hey Tanner, did you begin buying Reddit? No, I did not. I don't know if I should wait till after earnings or what have you, but I'm not in a super rush right now. Hey, Tanner, did you sell covered calls on BMNR? Not right now. I actually think, whenever it's below 60, that's more of an opportunity for me to buy because I think that it's closer to returning much higher. So for me to sell covered calls whenever it's dipped like this just allows for the stock to blow me out. And then I have to, sell my shares at a lower price than what I would have wanted to. So no, I'm not selling covered calls here, but I would be a buyer here. SoFi to 35 first week of November. I'll hold you to it, Dig South. I don't know. I'm not sure. You know what we were going to do today? I just remembered. We were going to do the community portfolio quarterly review. Should I do that tomorrow or maybe this weekend or something? Dang. No, I can't do it today. I got to prepare a little. I was going to wear a suit and tie, all that stuff. I was going to have some fun with it. I'm not going to do it now. I don't even know who donated all these things. I'm going to put it all on a nice spreadsheet. It is on the Notion in the description for anyone to view, but I don't want to have to search up everyone's name individually. That would just take way too long. But did I do my interview with Steve? No, it got pushed to next week. Not because of me, by the way. It's him that is late. You need a powdered wig, robe, and gavel. I was thinking about it, but I think I'm going to go more the Wall Street route than the judge route. And yeah, I mean, SBET is going to be on the chopping block. Grinder, Chime, Shark Ninja. I mean, it's got to be on the chopping block, but I'll defend it for someone that doesn't want to. 5-9, Fiserv, Starbucks, even Weeble. There's only a few that are like way, way, way down. And then there's other names in the portfolio that are just extremely small names that really haven't made any name for themselves. So maybe we might, tomorrow or maybe this weekend I can do it. And then I can also send out some things on X, maybe for some of you that I do know have donated this to come on stream and talk about why you were supporting that name. And we will vote to put that money into a new company. We got to rotate some names, that's for sure. Tanner, are you autistic? I don't think so. Like sometimes whenever I'm really into the spreadsheets and everything and I'm playing chess, like maybe I feel a little bit, but I don't know. I also don't, is that something that you can feel internally? Or is it something that someone else has to tell you? I don't know. Yes, he has it. He's artistic. Yes, he has it. Okay, thank you. I don't even think of it as a rude comment. I think there's definitely some things like whenever people are like, hey, why aren't you watching the Jays game? And I'm like, I don't watch any sports. I look at spreadsheets. Then for sure I get it, you know. But I've not been diagnosed. I have ADHD, that's for sure. Diagnosed. Tanner, are you interested in Klarna? No. Not that I'm anti Klarna, but I just prefer Affirm. I like the name better. Not the name, but I like the stock better. You're undiagnosed, but definitely something is up. I'm sure. Yeah. Maybe a little something. Okay. I don't know if you could tell, John. I'm not worried at all. I'm good, brother. Okay. Let's continue on with some fintech news. We ended up seeing an update from Block that could be. Oh, by the way, you guys want more chapters. So that'll fall under the autism chapter for people who want to rewatch the stream. I'll make sure to mark down that time. We ended up seeing a block update for both Square and Cash App, introducing neighborhoods, a major milestone connecting our sellers using Square with our consumer using Cash App. When I talk to sellers, their number one priority is generally one thing: growth. But they don't have the same budgets, tools, or resources as the big box chains that they can compete against. So they've historically been a massive disadvantage until now. Before, to compete, local businesses would have to navigate the complexity and cost of building a first-party mobile application and then trust that consumers could and would navigate the fragmented world of maintaining countless food and beverage apps. With neighborhoods, it's completely different. We're empowering local sellers with all the same benefits that the big guys have, but without the cost and complexities. Sellers can reach their regulars and get followers, offer network-wide rewards, market their products for free, and they could do this all within Square. And they can do it without leveraging the massive scale of Cash App. Yeah, my reading today, I don't know what that falls under, but we're having it again today. In addition, we're using the unique attributes of our payment platform to offer sellers just a 1% fee for all app orders. This is, of course, great for sellers in itself, but can also turn every sale into a de facto Cash App / neighborhoods advocate. From a consumer perspective, this is obviously a win-win. Sellers get growth and lower costs. Consumers get rewards, seamless orders, and local delivery. But from a business perspective, this is huge. With neighborhoods, we can drive GPV growth on the Square side through acquisition, retention, and same-store sales growth, while driving actives and engagement on the Cash side. What do you guys think of this? I've been, recording on YouTube, bullish on Cash App, actually made decent money, sold in a profit, but then very negative on Cash App as I saw a drying of growth, customers leaving the platform. What do we think from this? Is this a game changer? Is this the dual-sided, network position that we always wanted, where if you own the merchant and you own the consumer, you don't have to pay the middleman for those transactions. You can create these massive network effects. What do you think? What do you think? No one is paying attention to the energy company, says Anthony. I love how Anthony's in this chat every day. And he always has a take that I just so violently disagree with. I've never seen someone be such an advocate for the channel and be a daily watcher and just have takes that are so opposite of mine. It's the only thing people are talking about today is the energy companies. If you listen to any earnings call, video, anything, everyone is talking about the lack of energy. Everyone is talking about it. No one is not talking about it. It's insane. Okay. Yeah, Bloom Energy literally just got put in a meme category for having such large engagement from retail investors. Like Oklo, Bloom, all of these names are just getting insane engagement right now. Okay. Tanner is wrong about shorting. All right, then you short. But the equation's pretty simple. Your downside is 100% for being long. Your upside is infinite for being long. And then shorting is the opposite. So you have 100% downside and a little tiny bit of upside. Some of the best money-making opportunities are from shorting. Like what? Like what? Like who? Warren Buffett, the richest investor in the world, legendary short investor. Name the multi-billionaires that are famous short investors. Go on the list, Gil. And then name me the Stanley Druckenmillers and the Warren Buffett's and the, what's his partner's name? Charlie Mungers of the world. Yeah, Michael Burry. Michael Burry has a tiny, tiny, tiny fund. He's famous from one trade. And then he's been calling for a short case for years after that and has not been right. He has like $100 million portfolio. There's people in a MITS chat that are donating to him that have, $1 billion buying Robinhood. And I'm not even anti Michael Burry, but that's the person that you bring up to be the king of short sales. Come on now. And where are you, Gil? I'm not seeing another comment. You disappear? Yeah, I think he did. Okay. Bill Ackman. Bill Ackman is a violently long investor, rarely shorts. But yes, he has made money shorting. He's also, some of his biggest mistakes in his entire career, like Herbalife, has been from shorting. And he shorted a company that is a fraud. Like, that should have been a bad or a good investment. And it still wasn't. He lost millions and millions of dollars. And he was right. That's how bad shorting is. I can make him just do not. He's not saying anything wrong. This is his opinion. Shorting? Yeah, I would if I could. Shorting is just going long. Okay, let's see. Yeah, so we talked about, actually, we need to listen to this clip. This was a clip from the thing that we ended up talking about yesterday. This is what's called Jensen Huang talking about the deal that they ended up doing with Elon, XAI, and some of his comments around this. You might have already seen this. There's a pretty famous clip that that's going around. But anyway.
I'm super excited about the financing opportunity that they're doing. The only regret I have about XAI, we're an investor already. Mm-hmm. The only regret I have is I didn't give him more money. Almost everything that Elon's part of, you really want to be part of as well. And he gave us the opportunity to invest in XAI. I'm just delighted by that. And so that's an investment into a really great future company. And I'm super excited about.
There was another clip. I'm not going to play it because it's part of a 9-minute long interview, but talking about how they want to continuously invest more and more into these businesses, and how they're just making too much money right now that they have nothing else to do with it other than take equity stakes in businesses that they believe in because they're also using their technology. Gil in chat said, I named you 4. You said there aren't any. So a couple things. One, even in my article or in my tweet that I ended up posting, I said 99% of people are not going to make any money shorting. So I'm not saying that shorting absolutely makes no money, but none of the people that you named had made their fortune on shorting. Okay. Though, like Soros and Bill Ackman are legendary long investors. These, like, they got famous because they went against consensus and had a very contrarian take. And so that catches a lot of eyeballs. But like, for the most part, sometimes where a lot of the bulk of the money is being made is like Warren Buffett betting on Apple or Coca-Cola or some of these things. They're just not, article catching. Someone coming out and calling a currency a fraud, Soros, or, Bill Ackman calling certain companies fraudulent or overblown, that catches articles. But that's not what they're doing on a day-to-day basis. So these short funds where they do not have long positions and they short for a living, I do not have any respect. Well, it's not that I don't have any respect for them. I mean, they're people, they have their beliefs. I'm not going to go that far, but I wouldn't put $1 with them. They're not making any money. They're underperforming the markets. So, yeah. As for your own short, Gil, on IonQ, I wish you best of luck. You know, I'm not even like, that might be the name to short. The problem is the timing. You are having to pay to find the upside on IonQ. You have to wait, you have to pay your premiums, and your upside is, you know, capped. The people who are long IonQ right now that are selling out where you are potentially shorting are making a fortune more than you would have ever made shorting here. Until I see some real product, me and you are sitting on the sidelines. But you're right. If I don't understand an industry, I don't have to play it long. I don't have to play it short. I would never short a quantum stock or, you know, some of these other industries that I think are just a little overblown right now. Let's see what else here. You could short the NASDAQ. I wouldn't do that. It's actually like the one thing that, you know, I get asked a lot, like, hey, Tanner, what should I buy? Or something like this. I even hear it from family and friends. And to be honest with you, I don't tell them much, because if I end up buying into something and then I change my mind and I no longer like the name, they're not watching the live streams. They're not keeping up with me on a day-to-day basis to hear how I'm, you know, adjusting and changing my portfolio. So, you know, there's been some people that have been following me and they're like, hey, still holding Carnival Cruise. Like, when are we getting out of this thing? I'm like, I haven't held Carnival Cruise for like freaking 3-4 years. Like, where were you? But they don't watch the YouTube videos, right? And I don't even remember that I told them that that advice at some dinner multiple years ago. You know? So, who knows? The one thing I will say is, whenever people do ask me, hey, you know, what should I buy? I say, if you have the guts for it, get some QQQ. That's the only thing I ever advocate for. I don't think Gil is, you know, trolling. And I do think that there is a time whenever you know a stock is overvalued, but the market can stay irrational more than you can stay solvent. And the great thing about the stock market, it's one of the longest games in history. And those sayings and those quotable moments are because people have been in a position before you and have been right, like Bill Ackman with Herbalife. And he knew it was overvalued. He knew it was a fraud. But it doesn't matter because the timing doesn't have to correlate with your investment. The stock does not know you hold it. Very famous Peter Lynch quote. Just because you have a short doesn't mean that the market's going to adjust because you say so. So, I'm not even, and Bill Gates shorted Tesla. It's true. It's true. The amount of people, that was the most shorted stock in the world in 2019, I think it was. I was long that company whenever I read that article. I forget what it was, but I could tell you parts of it and then someone can find it. But it even said it had more like total aggregate dollars shorting Tesla than even Apple, which was the largest company in the world at the time, which I think just in 2019 had surpassed a $1 trillion market cap, which isn't that funny? That was like the largest company in the world, and it's now a quarter of what the largest companies in the world are today. I was wrong on SoFi. And Gil, hey, to be fair, you fessed up whenever you were. So, but I hope you didn't short it, brother. Yeah. I can stay solvent forever. Okay, let's see here. AMD keeps moving. Boy, oh boy, is that right. Congratulations to all AMD investors. This is just an incredible move in the last 5 days, up 47%. 47, up to 241 in the after hours now. I mean, wow. Wow. I will be a buyer whenever that translates into earnings. And I think it will. But I'm going to wait. I'm going to wait and see. Because last quarter, I remember my predictions for AMD were a lot higher than what they ended up showing, and that was a little bit scary. Okay. I'm an AMD investor. Yeah, a lot of AMD in chat. AMD. I just feel more confident in a larger name like NVIDIA. Can we get a quick look at HDFC Bank, please? I'm so sorry, but absolutely not. Thanks for the donation. Actually, I'll do as much as... Yeah, I'm good. I'm not a bank investor. I'm just, SoFi just happens to be a bank. How much is AMD up in the portfolio? Let's see what if we have some AMD in the community fund. I mean, we have to have some, right? AMD. Oh, wait, sorry. Total AMD up 43.37%. But we don't have a ton of AMD in the portfolio. Let's see. Yeah, it's a smaller name. Oh, no, sorry. No, it's not. It's the third largest. What am I saying? I was looking at Amazon. But it's still up 43%. That was correct. Can you look at SoundHound on Community Port? Yeah. SoundHound is up 67.8%. Is that your doing, Paul? I gotta say, that's a very generous donation. Not only giving me however much that was, but then allowing it to go up 67%. I mean, that's just a generous man right there. Sam Altman murder case is going to shake out OpenAI contracts. We'll see. We'll see. I'm sure that one has been looked at already. I don't know how that would happen where they would go back and look at that. But right now, I think it's marked as I don't even know if I'm allowed to say that word on YouTube, but, a self-harm case. Wait, what? You can Google that. An OpenAI whistleblower ended up passing away. And based on the details of the case, it looks like there might be some foul play. But right now, as the police see it, and by the way, this is this is older than you would think. I think it's like over a year old. But yeah. Meet Kevin says Sam Altman reminds him of SBF. I see that. I could see that. He's just a little too chill. A little too weird. It is a super sketchy situation or scenario. I'm not sure. But allegedly. I'm not assuming, or I have not said anything. I have no clue. That's my genuine feelings. Is I have no clue. My boy Timmy Cook may be on his way out. So one more time for the wonderful fruit. Apple. It's got to be one of my favorite fruits. Steve, thank you. Thank you so much, brother. I'll buy some apple with that. That's for sure. Hamas just accepted Trump's peace deal. Is this true? I've honestly not seen much political news today as much as I should have. Yes, 56 minutes ago. I am very proud to announce that Israel and Hamas have both signed off on the first phase of our peace plan. Blessed are the peacemakers. President Donald J. Trump. Okay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I'm not a political show, so I don't have much to say or anything along these lines. Watch the Tucker Carlson interview if you want to hear more about the Sam Altman case. He definitely confronts him about it. Okay, let's see what other news that I wanted to show off. It was mainly the SoFi stuff and the BMNR short report, which I thought was absolutely bogus. So essentially they just said, the treasuries are not working. They're not seeing the multiple that you would hope them to see. I don't know. MicroStrategy has absolutely worked versus the Bitcoin price, underlying price of the asset. So the strategy is working. DATs are working. And Ethereum is a much better play than Bitcoin, in my opinion, as a treasury because of the staking rewards. So that was the video that I put out today. If you guys haven't seen it, just talks about what it should look like if BMNR does get to that 5% holding of Ethereum or potentially even more. But yeah. Tanner, should I full port BMNR? I think from a risk perspective, probably not. I don't advocate for buying one individual stock. But I am bullish BMNR. Vlad is tweeting. Like Vlad Tenev. The government shutdown event contracts is live on Robinhood prediction markets. Markets don't just move on earnings and rates. They move on politics too. Prediction markets give traders a mechanism to hedge their positions and express views on real-world events impacting their lives. 100%. I mean, I'm definitely for prediction markets. I've never been anti them. I think that there are trades and everything like this that not only can be influenced by the people who are betting on them, and it's got to be some form of like insider trading or something along these lines. It's almost like a player of a basketball game betting on themselves in a game. If I'm not mistaken, that's not allowed. But you know, you don't have to play every contract. I would play the ones that would be less influenced and the ones that you only feel like you have a sort of an information advantage on. I would not gamble your odds. That would be as good as, going to the casino and putting it on black. But if you have an advantage, it is a tool to potentially take advantage of that. And then on top of that, the frequency in which Vlad continues to push this product makes me think more and more like how large it's becoming on their platform. Something that I think they thought would be a small ad is something that's bringing in, potentially just millions and millions and millions of dollars, soon hundreds of millions. Okay, let's see. Ask Pete Rose. Okay, so this will surprise you. I do know about this. He bet on himself to win, and it did, and he was winning or something along those lines. I could be off on some of that news, but to be fair on that, I'm pretty sure it wasn't allowed, and there was a scandal around that. Pete Rose did nothing wrong. Okay. Do more lives. I do these, Matthew, every single day. Every single day I do these at 7 p.m., sometimes at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But yeah, make sure you're subscribed if you like them. Hit the bell, the notification bell. Pete Rose always bet on the other games or that his team would win. Well, I hope that you're allowed to bet on other games if you're not influencing them. What inning are we in for baseball? Guy, you have no idea how much I don't know baseball. Like I don't even know how many innings there are. I'm pretty sure there's 12. But if you told me it was 4, I would believe you. I have no clue. 9. Okay. I've got no clue. I've never been to a game. I've never played baseball. It's not really a Canadian sport, to be honest. There's a lot of basketball here, a lot of hockey, or at least where I grew up. Football is definitely big here too, but I wasn't big into football. That really stirred people up. I'm sorry, guys. You know what's hilarious? This will show you something. I know, because I'm not a delusional idiot, that the Blue Jays are the team for Toronto. I couldn't name I don't think I could name a single player in baseball of any team. On any team. I mean, the legendary ones I could think about, like Babe Ruth or something like this. Like, I've heard those names. Could I point them out in like, what do you call those? Like, not mugshots, but like in a visual representation of a bunch of people pick out Babe Ruth? I would maybe be able to. Boxing, I don't watch a lot in. F1, I do watch. UFC, I watch a lot of. Otani, I have heard of because I saw an article pass by or something like this recently about him breaking some record. something like 50 home runs or I don't know what it was, but yeah. Aaron Judge, I do know of because he was on a YouTube video that I saw recently, but that's it. But even then, I couldn't tell you what he like. I don't know if I remember him. I have seen the Harry Potter movies for sure, probably a number of times. I play pickleball, that's for sure. Yeah. Oh wait, hold on. Steve is about to cuss me out, I bet. Steven. Hello?
Tanner, what's up?
You called me.
I have a question about BMNR.
I'm live right now. What's up?
Oh, you're live. Look at you.
Yeah, I just told the audience that I couldn't name a single baseball player.
Are you serious?
Well, once they said Ohtani, but I couldn't tell you what his name is. It's something with an S, though, I think.
Shohei?
Shohei Ohtani. Yes. Okay, there you go.
You mean you're not a Toronto Blue Jays fan?
Dude, I couldn't name a single. I truthfully could not tell you a single player. But I mean, yeah, baseball just wasn't that popular where I was living, I guess.
Do you think that they're going to get to 5% by January?
Not exactly, because I think that Ethereum's price will continue to increase. So if by what's it called? Tom Lee also thinks that Ethereum is going to get to 10 to 12,000 by end of year. So if that happens, they can't acquire at the speed that they have previously. But if we stay in this $4,000 or $4,000 range, I think it's possible for sure.
Okay.
Is that why you're calling?
Yeah, I want to know what your time frame was. That's all. What are you discussing? Like, are you discussing your favorite company, SoFi?
There's definitely some SoFi and BMNR talk. I mean, that's for sure.
All right.
But you can't just send me a text. That was a call-worthy event.
Well, I sent you a text earlier. You didn't answer, so I figured I'd try calling you. Didn't realize you were live.
And do you want to explain to the people why we didn't do a video today?
Yeah, I had to push it off.
That's fair. All right, so you just admitted that I was not the one that was late.
No, you were. No, it was me. But if you want, we could do it on your channel. We could do something.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that.
So send me a link. I'll come on in a few minutes.
Right now.
If you want, or we can do it another time. Fine. Tell me.
You got anything new you want to share? Any good information? What do you think about the AMD deal?
I think it's super bullish NVIDIA.
Why is that?
Super bullish. Because it validates that there's not enough compute. It validates that the build out is bigger than what the bears think. And their chips don't even ship till the second half of 2026. And it's a strategic move on OpenAI's part to take as much compute off of the market as they possibly can.
Well, also getting AMD stock.
That too, but the bigger thing is that this is the first time OpenAI will be buying directly from NVIDIA. They used to just go through a CoreWeave or a third party. They've never really operated their own data centers. They're now going to be buying directly from and operating their own infrastructure.
Yeah.
It is so bullish that I increased my build out for from 18 to 24 months to 3 to 5 years. I'm now on a 7 to 10 year roadmap of a build out.
Why do you think they won't do a direct or IPO or direct listing? If they're this hungry for money, what are they waiting for?
Well, they should. They're probably trying to renegotiate their deal with Microsoft before they do.
I see. I see.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. Do a little buyback and then go live.
Do something. That's just what I think. They're trying to reconfigure their deal with Microsoft before they go public. Because look, they could go public, they would be oversubscribed by 1,000%, and then they could do an equity offering the next day. The stock price probably won't even drop.
Yeah, dude. The amount of oversubscription, and I don't even care what price it is. I mean, like, OpenAI could go public today at an $800 billion market cap, and it would be fully subscribed.
Agreed.
Crazy. All right. I'll let you go, but let's talk soon.
All right, I'll talk to you later.
All right. Bye. Sheesh. Have a drink? Yeah. Every time Steve is on the show, everyone gets drunk. Okay. Yeah, no, OpenAI is going to be a big player, and they will be buying up their own, or they will be designing and building out their own data centers. It's true. 1 trillion. I don't know about that, but it'll be there one day. I just think it would be hard for them to double the valuation after just raising at a $500 billion round just so recently. I don't think the banks would want to take that risk on. They don't get to decide. It's not a direct public listing, right? They don't get to decide the price. They sell to the banks and the banks sell to the market. So, one, in order to have this large of an IPO, the syndication that would need to be created to like balance that risk, like so many banks would be a part of this deal. And so you kind of have to get a mix of, what do you call it? Like you're going to get a pretty even assumption across the board from people that have their opinions of OpenAI's valuation. So lots of banks means you're not going to get a price that is too higher or too much lower than what, you know, the rest of the market would see. $1 trillion when they're profitable. I mean, I think they'll be a lot higher than that when they're profitable. You got 800 million weekly active users now. Like, it was like 700 million a month ago. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all so much for watching. Really do appreciate your time. Check out my BMNR video if you're interested in that stock, and let me know what you guys want to see next down in the description, down in the comment section down below. Until next time, Matthew, I'm sorry, brother. I don't have many thoughts of or on SoundHound. So, yeah, my apologies. Thank you all so much for watching. Bye for now.